This will be the first video in my video series on how to build an engine, which I think is one of the most common Dominion strategy questions. This video specifically is just going to focus on what an engine is, and what that term means, and what the sort of goal is. I won't focus on the rules of Dominion, so if you don't know the rules yet, obviously check out a different video. So the short answer is that an engine is one of the two main Dominion strategy archetypes for ways to compose your deck and play them out. This dichotomy of engine versus its counterpart, big money, is not really going to accurately capture every single deck. There will be exceptions, and some decks might be sort of somewhere in the middle between the two. But by and large, you'll find that many players, somewhat productively, divide Dominion strategies into these two sorts of broad overarching categories. And I'll define them both here. So starting with big money. Big money is a simple, money-focused strategy towards Dominion. You know that you'll have the ability to buy silvers and golds in every game. Silvers and golds help you afford good things. And so a big money strategy just mostly shoves its deck full of silvers and golds with the idea of having a high value in your average hand. You acknowledge that you start with 10 cards and your deck's only going to go from there, and you're only ever going to draw 5 or so of those cards every turn. So the main goal of a big money strategy is just to increase the chance that that 5-ish card hand that you draw has $8 in it. If you hit $8, you can buy a province. And so you're going to put cards like gold and silver that are worth 3 and 2 respectively into your deck so that you have more buying power. And so instead of hands mostly coppers, you hands mostly golds, you buy provinces. It's that simple. So this deck has modest ambitions. Usually you're just trying to get up to seeing $8 in your average hand as quickly as possible, then starting to buy provinces and end the game that way. It might add a few actions. Usually it's better to add some actions rather than none. But it's only going to add, somewhere between 2 to 4 actions maybe over the course of the game. The sorts of actions that might improve a strategy that's focused on money over just adding more money. But it's mostly going to be focused on just adding money and then ending the game from there. And based on that, this deck is going to try to start scoring relatively early. Right? It's not doing a whole lot, not doing anything fancy. You just get cards and you acknowledge I've got one buy. I might as well buy a province if I can find it. I'll score as soon as possible. Now the counterpart to that is an engine strategy. An engine, rather than saying I'm going to improve the quality of my average hand, is going to say I'm going to try to play my entire deck, or at least as close to it as I can get. The goal of an engine is to create a deck that can play itself every turn reliably. You want the ability to draw through all your cards and to play all your cards. And so, hence the name engine, right? It's an engine that hopefully can run itself. And so you're not focused on improving how much your average hand can buy. You want to improve, A, how reliably that average starting hand can lead to you drawing every card in your deck. And then B, how much can your entire deck as a whole buy? Because once you find your whole deck, you'll be able to play all of it and get the benefit of all the treasures, for example, in your deck, rather than just a 5-card selection of them. So based on that, the goal of an engine is usually to buy much more, or score much more than 1 province per turn. You might be buying multiple provinces, you might be buying a province and getting some duchies, you might be getting a province and scoring some victory points, etc. But an engine usually has bigger ambitions. You want to score a lot. And that's also because it starts later. An engine takes more time to ramp up. You're not just adding a few golds and maybe an action card or two. You have to add cards that get rid of your starting cards. You have to add cards that draw you more cards. You have to add cards that help you play more cards after that, because by default you can only play 1 action per turn. And then you have to add a bunch of payload cards. And so all that takes a lot more work getting all the components for an engine. And so it starts later. And so the goal of an engine strategy is not to get to buying provinces faster than big money. It's to build a deck that can score more points and more reliably so that it outraces it in the end by scoring more points per turn in the final turns. And then based on that, the deck composition is going to be mostly action cards. You want a lot of actions usually in an engine, because actions are the sort of things that help you draw more cards, play more cards, etc. And you'll have some treasures often, not even always, as your payload at the end of the turn where you want to actually put a bunch of cards into play that help you buy stuff. But it's going to be much more action focused. And in fact, one of the bigger distinctions between engine strategy and money strategy is an engine is usually going to be much more focused on getting rid of its starting cards. Because a deck that tries to draw its entire deck every turn, it's usually a lot more important to get rid of your initial coppers and estates, because those really get in the way of an engine. A big money would like to trash the starting cards if it can, but it's usually not a high priority compared to an engine. Alrighty, so now I'm just going to demonstrate 1 game each of what a big money versus a engine strategy looks like. So first off, big money. So we'll analyze this kingdom. What we're looking for big money would just be an action or two that would improve the quality of a money-based strategy if we were to add a few of them to the deck. And I'm not going to talk too much in depth about big money strategy because that's not the point of this video. I'll just say that you're obviously not looking for stuff like an action that plays more actions or an action that lets you play more actions, because those are obviously not going to work well in a deck that's mostly money. I think the two big candidates here would be Smithy, which draws you 3 cards. So if you find it in hand, you get to see 7 potential charges instead of 5. And it is 7, not 8. You sort of have to mentally subtract the Smithy, because one of your 8 cards was this. Or Bandit, which just on the turn you play it, obviously does nothing for you. It doesn't score you points or draw you anything or make you money, but it does get you golds. So if you get this early, you should have a bunch of gold in your deck, and that's something that Big One is trying to do. So I'm going to try to build a deck that's maybe got 1 or 2 Smithies, a Bandit, and then mostly money. We'll see how that does. You'll notice that the computer, which tends to play a big money strategy, is going to do very similar things to what I'm doing. It's buying, it literally bought a Smithy, a Bandit, and a Silver. I have 5, but I don't want a deck with a bunch of actions in it. They'll start to clog each other up and get in the way. Having multiple actions won't help me if I can't play them all. So I'm just going to buy a Silver. Bandit. I think I'll add my second Smithy now. And from here on out, I think my goal is only to buy silvers, golds, provinces, and then maybe like duchies or estates once the province balance gets low. And we're already there. Turn 6, I'm buying a province. Don't have choice here. Gotta play the Bandit or the Smithy. I think I'll go with the Bandit. Probably value that gold more right now. Later in the game, Smithy would be better because I would want the immediate payoff of being able to afford province. We already got our second province on turn 8. Play Smithy, buy province. So notice we're scoring basically whenever we can at this point. Can't afford province, look at a gold. Pretty soon I'll start considering buying duchies over golds, even if I have 6. Yeah, so the computer has already brought it into 2 provinces, so I'll get a duchy. Get a duchy again. Now we've done very similar strategies. So at this point, it's going to be kind of up in the air as to who even wins. If anything, I would give marginal edge to the computer by virtue of going first. Now if they fail to hit 8, which they did, I can now tie the game by buying last province. But this strategy is alright, but it only really matches the computer, which plays basic big money. So let's see if we can do better. This time I'll try to build an engine. I'm going to open with a card that can trash some of my cards. I want to get those starting cards out of my deck so I can see the cards that I really want more often. Don't think I need more silvers right now. Festival gives me extra actions as well as some money and buys. That'll come in handy. On 6, I want Artisan much more than I want a gold for this deck, because Artisan will let me gain a bunch of these action cards, which I value. Now I'm going to want to start adding some draw so I can see more of these cards. So I'll need a Smithy. And let's add a remodel. Moneylender can trash my coppers, but I still need a card that can trash estates. So that's why I'm adding this. I'm not going to draw with the Smithy because I know that my Artisan's down there, and if I play it now with my only action, I'll see my Artisan but won't be able to play it. So I'd rather save that for next turn. And get a second Smithy. What do I want to do here? It's unfortunate I found my remodel with none of my estates. So maybe I will just get another festival and top deck that for next turn. And get a second Artisan. So notice the computer, similar to last time, has already scored twice. And this deck's not even all that close to scoring. But I don't think that's too much of a concern because over the long term, you'll be able to outscore it with an overall deck strategy. Playing some actions, playing some draw. I'm going to play this village twice because I really value the draw right now. Gain a smithy. Doesn't matter what I top deck because I'm just going to draw it again. Throne Room Artisan. Gain a smithy. Top deck. Gain a festival. Top deck. Play, play, play. Can't play both of these. I think I value the remodel more right now. Gain another Throne Room. And we'll buy 2 villages and a smithy, because I want to be able to reliably play and draw all of my actions. Actions, draw, actions. Well, my turn's going to end here, so I might as well do something productive. I will throw in this artisan and put a draw card and an action card on top for next turn, so that I know that my deck will go off. Now, right around now, so they've scored 3 provinces out of the 8, and so I think someone might start to get worried, like, oh no, this strategy's going to lose. They're clearly way ahead. But like we said, this strategy wins by outscoring over the long term. So this doesn't concern me all too much. We'll trash a copper. Let's get rid of these last 2 starting cards. Well, silver wasn't really a starting card, but kind of, sort of. We'll gain the last smithy. Gain a festival. Take a province now. Probably still a little early. Go Throne Room Bandit. And then, yeah, so here's the problem. I had 3 of my smithies way down at the bottom of my cards. So that might explain why I was struggling a bit to draw. But from here on out, we should be drawing our deck most turns. Play a bunch of actions. We'll draw twice with the smithy. Let's play an artisan. Gain 2 of these. Let's do this again. Gain a bandit. And a remodel, and draw. Let's get ourselves some golds. Draw the golds. We would like to trash copper, gain gold. Let's remodel this into an estate, because I know I can draw it up. Remodel it again, get another throne room, and now let's start scoring. So we got 25. I could buy 3 provinces here. I think that might be a little ambitious. I'll just take 2 of them now, and then add some more villages for reliability's sake. Don't want my deck to fizzle out next turn. This is a dicey hand, for example, right? Want to make sure I find some smithies. Oh, this is unfortunate. So we've had a dead turn. Now this is the sort of thing that could cost you in a more competitive game, but like we said, the computer's deck is not particularly concerning. So even given a very poor hand that costs us all turn, this should still be an easy win. We'll just play through our deck. Draw. We'll draw a bunch. And now let's get a bunch of golds. Draw a bunch of golds. Well, do I need to draw? Yeah, let's draw it all. Doesn't really matter too much what order I play this in. This is probably suboptimal, but I don't want to spend too long thinking when the game's already over. Well, throne room, this remodel. Get the province, get a duchy, remodel that into a duchy, buy 4 more duchies, maybe buy some estates, and now we've solidly outscored the computer. So, you know, despite them having that 3 province to nothing lead, despite us having a dud turn and a key turn, you know, this strategy is going to be so much stronger that if you do it well, then you're going to beat the computer. And then in later videos, I'll go into the specifics of how you do this, what was going on here. This was just to demonstrate to you what it looks like. So let's buy that last estate and end the game.